We are back at Barber Motorsports Park, where we are now shifting into race number 1 for the Royal Enfield Build Train race. It is part of Superbikes at Barber, celebrating the 10th anniversary of the MotoAmerica Championship season. And Build Train race has really become a big part of the weekend schedule. On the weekends that they're able to make it to, this program has grown over the last several years, and it's just a joy to watch these women come into their confidence and being able to build the bikes and really get up to speed as they're now all making their way to the grid. We have 13 riders that are a part of this championship this season, making their debut here this weekend. Did you see the field there now? We're joined in the broadcast booth with Freddie Spencer. And Freddie, you have been able to coach these riders. I know you did some time with them out at the Motorsports Ranch in Texas. And what have you learned about them?
Well, it's really a whole journey of things that they're doing. We have 4 returning riders this year. We have Michaela, Emma, and Lauren, and Aubrey. And they're joined by the new class that's this year. It's a 2-year program. And so with the returning riders, you know, basically they're just continuing to improve where they left off at the end of the year. The new riders, for them, sometimes it's the first time on this GT 650, some of them first time here. And what they work in training is how to learn racetracks and how to learn how a motorcycle works and the characteristics. So that's part of the training part. The build part is professional mechanics. We do that first in Dallas, and so it's a whole journey. The racing part, they sign a 2-year contract. They're professional racers. This is a professional program, and they are super competitive. And so it's what, for me personally, it's just great to see their growth each time they get on the racetrack. You
take a look at the starting grid. Michaela Moore, our pole sitter, she is the returning defending champion, and now in her second and final year of this program, as Emma Betters and Camille Conrad make up row number 1. We go back through, and Miranda Kane, Aubrey Crederoli, and Lauren Prince, you mentioned those 2 as returning competitors as well there on row number 3. Kate West, Lucy Blundell, and is that Pearltree?
Yes.
Pearltree Suen, and making up the last row here today.
What's so amazing about this program is when we do the selection process at the end of each year for the new students that's coming on board, it's a multi-purpose thing. They all have track experience. Some of them a lot less than others. But you look at how they want to fit into this program and understanding truly what it is. It's the single most complete program in the world that's provided by Royal Enfield and the team that I've been lucky enough to put together to be able to provide basically everything is taken care of. And these bikes are theirs at the end of 2 years. So when they build this bike and everything they do on race weekends, it's their motorcycle.
We'll get into some more of that and those details. It's such an interesting program and such a big undertaking by Royal Enfield, as all of the riders are now making their way into their grid positions. This is a big deal for them. This is the first start of the season. I know this is something you worked on, just start after start after start in those practice days at the Motorsports Ranch, and it's the first standing start of the season for them. As soon as everyone is in position, you see the green flag at the back. That means it is ready to go. These are all new procedures for a lot of these riders. You see one there make a move early. Back into that box before he goes. The lights out, and we are now racing for 2024, the Royal Enfield Build Train race. There are a couple of riders with issues at the start. There at the back of the field, there was still no go. Michaela Moore not leading the way into turn 1.
Emma Betters got a great start there in the middle of that front row.
She did. That was one of the things last year, Roger, that we saw every race. I know that the 2 I was able to come to is Michaela would just get a jump and go. We did practice starts. We made up a light system so that we could practice starts in the training part so they could get used to it.
The training part, I know it starts off in the classroom. What do they learn in the classroom before they're able to apply to the racetrack?
Well, basically how a motorcycle works, and then we go through drills, we go through braking drills, we go through body movement, teach them. Many of them have been through training before, but not on this motorcycle, so they learn the particulars and uniqueness of the GT 650. And they're just so eager, and that's part, again, the selection process, to be able to choose that and to even to want to do it. They have a lot of drive and determination, and that inspires me as a teacher and the whole team. We're here for them. That's what this program is about. Uh-oh, we have a crash.
That is Lucy Blundell who is down.
Lucy goes down.
She's slow to get up.
Yeah.
Talking to the corner workers there, they're going to try and get her moved out of the way. Michaela Moore has taken over the lead after not having the best of start, but Emma Betters is still right there behind her.
So Michaela last year winning the title, coming back for this second year. I think we have a red flag out. What would be the goal for her this season? Just try to go look at last year's lap times and see if she can better those?
Yeah, that's a very, very good point, Roger. One of the things we worked on, and because I ride with all the students, and one of the things with Michaela, because she is so good everywhere, was just a little bit on corner entry about making sure getting her eyes up, little bitty things. And the other thing, as we got a red flag, I just hope that Lucy's okay. She's been working so hard. She had a little incident, Lucy did, during the training process. She's up and looking around, which is good. She's also she puts a lot of pressure on herself, and that's one of the things been working with her. But as we see the crash here, she goes in. Looks like she lost the front, tried to save it, and then just went straight off the track. And, well, she went down in the grass. I'm sure it probably stunned her on the right side, but it looked like she got up and walked away. She did have a good save, though, Roger.
Yeah, really good save there. Just kind of, put her off track there. And that gravel, we've seen it all weekend. That gravel, because of the cars here, is really, really deep. And when the motorcycles get in there, I mean, it's hard to keep it on two wheels.
It is.
That's got to also be heartbreaking for her, watching that bike that so much effort has been been put into the build of it. As these riders are going to make their way back, we are under red flag. We're going to step away for just a moment. We'll be back right after this.
Potential with Insta360 X3. Capture all the action in 5.7K. Impossible third-person views. And epic 4K POVs. Your videos have never looked so smooth. Take your motorbike shots to new heights.
We've been there since the very beginning.
The rookie on a rookie machine on its maiden voyage, coming out of NASCAR.
Organizing the industry and building champions. Years of defending your rights to ride into the future.
We are back at Barber Motorsports Park under red flag for Royal Enfield Build Train Race. It was Lucy Blondell, you see there in the shot, just explaining. It looked like she got a little loose, kind of lost it there, and that's what brought out the red flag. And unfortunately, this race has now been shortened from the 5 laps that we were expecting down to 3. Once we get back to racing, we're joined in the booth, Roger Hayden and Freddie Spencer. And Freddie, through the coaching process, we were just talking when we were at commercial break about Michaela Moore, and you see this was the start that we just watched moments ago, and Michaela's the pole sitter by a substantial amount, but it wasn't the cleanest of starts for everybody.
No, it was. You could see that it looked like maybe didn't see the number who jumped, but one thing we worked on, as I was telling Roger, we had practice start lights this year that we didn't have time to get ready for last year, so that most of them never been use that, especially all the new riders. So we did practice starts. The second training session was about just race simulation. One of the riders who really improved even from last year, Emma. Michaela, of course, is where she's been starting from last year. This is Lucy's crash. She went in on the brakes and tucked the front and saved it, but went back to the brakes a little bit too aggressively, and it locked it up again, and then she was off the track, as Roger said, getting that gravel, huh?
Yeah, and it's hard too when you run off the track as well. You can't really grab the front brake, and going into the corner, you have to grab the front brake to slow down, and then you got to transition really quick. Once you get into the grass or the gravel, I got to use the rear brake. So really difficult, and that's a situation which gives these girls the opportunity to learn from that, and next time if that happens, and she'll know what to do.
Well, they're amazingly fast learners, and they're all so competitive. We have riders from all backgrounds, and you'll see that when bios when you have for next race, really details about their own experiences and some of them what they've overcome, but main thing is they want to race, and they're very competitive, and for us providing this opportunity with support gives them a chance that is a dream.
We have just about a minute remaining before pit lane exit will open, and the riders can go back around on a sighting lap to get back into their grid positions. I want to take a second real quick to talk about the bike. They're all on the Continental GT 650, and the bike itself, it's a nod to another time, back to the 1960s, and now it's being pushed on the racetrack. Why this bike?
Well, it's really about Royal Enfield. The history of Royal Enfield is amazing. Even as a kid, I knew the name, and there's a mystique to it, there's a history to it, like a Harley Davidson and Indian. It's the same thing, and I'm such a history buff, and for me, this is grassroots racing. I mean, I ended up in the World Championships. I'm still in the World Championships as chairman of the Stewards panel, and I go to every Grand Prix. But I love this and this opportunity to showcase not only the women riders, but this motorcycle, which is a tribute to the past. And many people connect with that, and it's kind of a retro, but also a nod to the future. This bike is a racing heritage, actually, because Harris Performance is the company that builds the chassis. Royal Enfield owns it. Leon Harris, his history is in European Grand Prix racing. And so it's a fun motorcycle to ride. It's very inexpensive. And then we can turn this bike not only to a road race bike, but it's the dirt track bike that is based on, and for the women's dirt track program. And I love it. I've ride it. It's a lot of fun, but it's unique, and that's the challenge. Most of them ride like 300s. They ride R6s, and there's a lot of refinement there. This bike really makes you precise on using the clutch, on using the brake, on corner speed. And so you get this right, and the characteristics are unique. It's fun, but it can translate to any motorcycle you ride because you refine your technique. So that's the teaching side of it that comes through.
Before this race weekend, like I mentioned before we started going, they did have some track time. Everybody went out to the Motorsports Ranch to get some classroom time as well as just a whole bunch of track time.
Yes.
But now on the race weekend, one of the things that Roger and I have pointed out from practice and qualifying in the various sessions is there are substantial jumps that are made from session to session. 3 and 4 seconds, 5 seconds for some of them. When they come off of the racetrack, they go back to the Royal Enfield truck that you can see there in the shot right next to the building. Everybody's under the same awning. What are they doing in between sessions? Oh, well, they're debriefing and themselves. The main thing is we want to teach them to be their own coach. We teach them, that's always been my goal when I was working with your brother, Nicky and stuff, is where you learn how a motorcycle works, and you learn all the things that you're good at and the things that you're weak at. So that's how you improve. And they make notes, and we go over it, and they go over with Scott, who's the team manager that works with the mechanics. They have their own mechanics. We have 3 professional mechanics that they work with, and they are able then to be able to refine their setup. We have K-Tech that comes in, work with them on suspension, because that's what the program's about. It's about learning every aspect and how you work with the bike and how the bike works. So riders all made it back after the sliding lap. This is now the warm-up lap. The race originally, race number 1 and race number 2, both were supposed to be 6 laps, as we see another problem for Pearl Tree Sue, and she has not left the grid area for the warm-up. So, well, we're going to see there. It looked like she was, because she was struggling with the start before.
get it in gear, and it's Pearl's. Pearl would, her experience level, that's where she's at. She's learning confidence, and she is learning the motorcycle and improvement, and so they all have different goals, and that's what we're here for. It's not just about your position on the track, winning and losing. It's about your improvements, as you said. Each time they go out, we want to just keep improving and become easier. One of the great things this morning, they were going faster with less effort. Right, Roger? That's always our goal, is for ourselves to get smoother and less effort so that we can go faster. And then get in the motorcycle, we make changes so it works together.
I thought it was interesting last year, when we were watching the ladies and learning more about the program, is it's not necessarily to have girls come in and start racing and being world champions.
No.
It's starting to get girls on motorcycles, even if it's play riding in the trails, street bike. It's not necessarily just for racing, right?
No, of course, the program itself, this is a leadership program of ladies that want to be kind of at the sharp end of the exposure. They're competitive, they want to get better, they want to race, they want to win, they want to be in this professional program. But the program, the bigger picture of it is just like when we had Michaela, she did the CBS interview on Friday, it's about women in sports. And that's what is want to be a leader of that here in the United States beyond just motorcycling.
This is the first race of the championship season for all of 13 of these women. They will take place at 4 different rounds over the course of this year. This being the first one. Road America will be second. They'll also make their way out west. They'll go to the Ridge up in Washington State, and then they will round things off back at Mid-Ohio. MotoAmerica, the entire paddock excited to go back to Mid-Ohio, and these 13 women get to be a part of that. As you see, everyone is now there. The lights are up in the corner of the screen, and we are ready for this 3-lap shootout. Lights are on, and they're off. See, again, Michaela Moore did not get the jump that she wanted, but Emma Betters was right there to take advantage, and she will now lead the field into turn 1.
Emma got a great start again. I know she'd been working on that.
What's the biggest thing you work on when the very first day, the training camp, the very first day? What is the biggest thing that y'all have to accomplish with getting them confident?
Well, basically, we just break it down to connecting with the motorcycle, relaxing, all of the basic skills of interaction with the bike, and also their feedback on where they're at in their own experience level. So we're always working on getting them comfortable right away is the main thing, and really teaching them how to learn.
As you see Michaela now at the lead, that was one thing we noticed during the sessions was Michaela was going back to pit lane. She wanted something more from the motorcycle. She's in a different league than the other riders at this point.
Well, her experience level from last year, we know her ability level, and she's a leader, though. One of the great things that I wanted to build also, getting involved, is the camaraderie and the teamwork. And our returning ladies, they interact and help the new crew. But that's off the racetrack. On the racetrack, they all, it's different. They put their helmet on, and they're racers like us, Raj, and they want to beat each other. But Michaela, what she was working on was the front end, and she was getting a little bit of chatter in the downhill sections, and she was talking with me, about changing the lines, all the things that are the advanced part, right, Raj, where you're able to then work around the chatter problems, and certainly Michaela is very, very good race management, and that's where it's just improving from last year.
It gives her the opportunity too, when she comes in and works with the K-Tech suspension guys, to figure out what changes need to be made. And the really hard part is giving the suspension guys the right information so they can explain it. It gives her a good chance to be able to work on that.
Well, that's what I said. We did the race simulations on the second 2-day period. That's one of the things, Roger, we had is because we have a K-Tech trained mechanic that is there, and he understands how it works. And we took them through all the preload and rebound, and so they could feel each of the different settings, and we can see just that improvement. And where they know, they come in and say, well, the bike's doing this, and the mechanic then can help them make the right choice. That helped with the pace today, Jamie, is just setup issues.
just being able to get a little more comfortable.
Absolutely.
When you look at that number 88, Camille Conrad, we were just following her around. She qualified third. She's back off the podium right now, but you can see her looking to try and get back around. Cassie, she wants that spot back. That speaks to the competitive nature that you mentioned.
Oh, wow. Well, one of the things Camille had said before this morning after the morning warm-up is that she knew she wanted to be more aggressive. She's a professional skier, and you know she really understands the direction change and things, and so those are things that she brought into her own experience that she can then apply to this. And this is her first year. She's only had a couple races last year, this year, and so she's not a whole lot of experience level, but she's got a lot of experience in another discipline that she can apply toward this. And she was quick from the get-go yesterday, never been to this racetrack.
So what will y'all do from this race as we see a rider off track coming out of the last corner? What will y'all do after this race to help these girls learn to get better for the race this afternoon?
Well, they'll come in and they'll see all the improvements they made here. As you can see, Camille, she's now in third place.
Yeah, she was able to make.
Yeah, it looked like that. It was Miranda that went off the racetrack on the exit of 17.
That forced Casey
17.
into moving off of the line, and then Camille was able to make that move up and get herself back into podium contention as we are on the final lap. This was meant to be 6 laps, and then with the schedule change and the rain that came in yesterday, it was shortened to 5. They have 2 races today, and this one has now been shortened down to 3 laps, so it really is just a shootout. As you see Michaela Moore, just the gap that she has been able to build.
Well, and we knew it was going to be competitive in this part of the field. In this part, it's going to be an exciting year, actually. Different riders and bringing it into it. One of the things I told all of them is that, and Rod, you're right, is you get out there and then you gauge yourself, and you're going to make improvements as the race goes on, just seeing other riders, and they'll tow you along.
It looks like the same spot there we seen last time in the turn 8 to 9 area.
It's Aubrey Crederoli, one of the returning riders to this championship here in her 2nd year. She has gone off the racetrack as Michaela Moore is now completing this final lap of this 3-lap shootout to start off the 2024 Royal Enfield Build Train Race program. And she didn't have the best of starts. She fell back to 2nd place, but she was able just a couple of corners into that first lap to make up the move, and she has led since then, now taking the checkered flag, and she gets her first race win of the 2024 season. Remember, she won all 7 of them last year to get that championship, but the battle for 2nd goes all the way to the line. And it was Camille Conrad who was able at the last moment to make that pass and finish 2nd above Emma Betters to round out our top 3.
What a great ride by everybody, and you can see Michaela was back in the position where she was. She's obviously got everything going from last year and the improvements that she's made in the wintertime, but also you can see the other riders, the pace, they lowered their lap times. Everyone lowered their lap times in the race today. You can see Michaela at 46. She had a 45. Closed down, Camille picked up, it looks like that she picked up over a second or so from her pace yesterday and this morning. So they all made improvements.
They were all able to make big gains, and that's really what we've seen session to session. It'll be interesting to see as they have a 2nd race this afternoon that is scheduled right now to be 6 laps, what they're able to go back and look at and reevaluate and learn from to get ready for round number 2.
Well, we can see here, it looks like that Aubrey's up and okay, so that's the main thing. Well, like I said, what they're going to work on is just refinement. They have their notes. We'll go over, and they'll go over with their mechanics on any changes they want to make or where they made improvements. They're really good about, you know, they break down on their track maps and looking at their lines, and they understand. And I did the track walk with them Thursday, and we talked about where to go slow and where to go fast, and they pick up on all of that, and they'll make improvements this afternoon. Main thing, have a good time and get through the race and continue to make improvements.
You see the full field there waving to the fans, and you mentioned it is about that camaraderie. It's about just having fun. It's about the process. Well,
that's
and
part
learning.
of it. Yes, exactly.
And even just watching Michaela, she was waving at the fans. Her body language and just, you know, you can see her smiling inside of her helmet when you can't even see inside of there. She's sunshine. She's her personality is just so bubbly and happy, and she's going to be certainly pleased when she finally does make her way back around. You see that wave there, and What a great race for her. And you know, some of these races they're meant to be a little bit longer, but when you have the confidence now knowing that you're able to put the laps together 3 in a row and you don't have the time to make up for any mistakes, you've got to just go for it.
You do. And the races being on average 6 laps, 7 laps, that it's very important then to, one of the things, again, we work on in training and they'll continue to work on, and that's what's great about being a 2-year program. I always tell them is that at the end of the 2 years, you commit to it and you continue to learn, and you'll gain experience, you'll gain knowledge and technique, where the techniques become second nature. So then you can do the race management and the craft part and being able to be consistent lap after lap and always continue to make improvements.
And having someone fast like Michaela for the other girls too, they kind of get to see what the bike can do, and I think that's really important to know, because you always feel like as a rider you're on the limit, and when somebody goes faster it kind of forces you to get out of that comfort zone.
Absolutely, Project. That is perfectly true. I always would say in my 29 years of racing, when people and students would ask me, or when I was doing my school, you see Michaela, she goes and hugs everybody, and the interaction between all the team members is such an important part of it, because the things that they learn here and the relationships they build, they'll last forever. But one of the things about comfort zone I would always say is that I've lived most of my life outside my comfort zone, even when I was world champion.
Before we hear from these ladies, one of the things I've just learned is that this morning Michaela didn't go out. Instead, she was back and working on all of the bikes. Here in her second year, the first race weekend, what is it that you see her giving back to the rest of this program?
Well, it's just that. It's their enthusiasm, and as Roger said, it's because she's the fastest. Everyone knows that what they have to shoot for, and that makes everyone work harder. So she brings that to the program and the way that she represents it.
Take a look at the highlights from this first race here for the season. Michaela Moore then taking over the lead after falling to second. There was a little bit of an incident there for Lucy. Brought out the red flag. Start number 2. Again, Emma Betters with a really solid start. Michaela Moore having to make up some ground to get around her and make that pass. But once she was there, she held on to it. The battle then came down to who was going to be on the podium, and there were several ladies that wanted the spot.
Well, you can see there, Emma was in second, Camille, and then Camille was able, Miranda ran off the racetrack, and she ran off, and that allowed Camille to get that 3rd position. But they all rode great, and like I said, they know what they need to work on for the second race, so it's going to be exciting to see.
We have a little bit of time. Let's get down to the podium. Michael Hill is down there to celebrate with our winners. Michael.
Yeah, thanks, guys, down here with the ever-smiling Michaela Moore. What a great way to start her title defense. Michaela didn't lead from the start, but once you got in front, you made quite easy work of that. Great job, 25 points.
Thank you. Yeah, Emma, off the start, she got a great start, and I knew I had to do some work with it only being 3 laps. And so I just tried to put my head down and stay up front as long as I could. And the bike did really well. Thank you to Royal Enfield, Build Train Race, Dunlop, Parts Unlimited, Arai, Bison, everyone that just supports our program. And then thanks for everyone for coming out.
And just very quickly, you elected not to ride this morning. Any reason for that?
I like to go out on tires that are just fresh with no laps on it. And so I had a lot of trust in these Dunlops going out there with 0 laps on them, so I was able to do as best as I could.
Sounds like a plan. It worked, didn't it? Absolutely worked. Let's move on then to our second place finish. Yeah, come on, let's keep the applause going down here. Camille Conrad in second place. And not only have you just had to do that race, you've got to hold your own bike down here as well. Camille, a fantastic race for you, your first podium of the season. And I think the smile says it all.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I couldn't be more thrilled to be here. I'm really happy with my finish. And I just want to say thank you to the Build Train Race program and the Royal Enfield. Without them, I wouldn't have the opportunity to be here. And so thank you to Parts Unlimited. And I'm just super pumped I have a race under my belt, and I'm very grateful to have finished.
It's a great race. Looking forward to seeing you back out later on. And of course, there is another race coming up. And let's move on to our 3rd place finisher, Emma Betters. And that was a lovely little fight going on there during that race. How was that for you?
Yeah, that was fantastic. Massive thanks to Royal Enfield. This is an incredible opportunity. Camille came back in there in that last lap. Great pass, fantastic job. Just wanted to get a good start in. Michaela got me pretty early. I just wanted to stay up with her, but thank you. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Brakes felt great. Tires felt awesome today, so thanks, Dunlop.
Excellent. We've got another chance to do it later on as well. Back to you, Jamie. 3 very, very happy ladies down here, and rightly so.
And they're all so complimentary of one another. And Freddie, all the time that you've been able to spend with them through the course of this program and getting things kicked off and started here for the first race weekend, what is your biggest takeaway as you now just watch them compete in their first race?
Well, obviously, I'm just so proud and happy for them because it's about them and the program that we want to provide an opportunity and to see them happy and enjoy and improve. That is a great day for me. So I'm just very proud of them.
They're supposed to have another race later on this weekend. It's going to be today, so it's a double-header day, and it's a little bit different. Now, we do have a special treat. We have a partnership this year with Insta360, and that camera was put on Camille's bike. So for the first time, we're going to get a good look at this Continental GT 360 and just the way you said it moves going around the racetrack. We're going to step away and take a quick break. We'll be back with more coverage on MotoAmerica Live Plus right after this.